Here on Treaty 7 territory, nestled in the Rocky Mountains with the mighty Bow River at an altitude of 1,309 meters. Born from coal dust in 1884 and ever-changing, this is Canmore, and we are Canmorites, and this is the Canmorite Podcast. Let's go. Hey there, it's me, Jeff Maw from the Canmorite Podcast. We're getting deeper into the silly season of campaigns, and one of the interesting things coming up is the school board trustee. And I thought I'd like to put a little bit of highlight on some of the candidates that are running for school board trustee. So with me, I have the mighty
Cheryl Fraser.
Cheryl Fraser. I hear you're running for a school board trustee here in the Canmore area. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've just celebrated my 10th year anniversary of living in the Bow Valley.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am from the Big Bad, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Our time in the past 10 years has been amazing. So our kids have spent their entire educational career here.
Yep.
And we've had a really great time. There's definitely been ups and downs, like it would be anywhere you live.
For sure.
But for the most part, I mean, you just look up here and it's incredible. Your day just automatically gets better. I've only had one job since I've been here. I've been working for the Rocky Mountain Outlook,
Yep.
and that has been amazing. I think I'm one of the few people who can truly say that I really, really do love my job. I love the people I work with, and I do really enjoy my clients. So that has been really great. And my husband, Matthew, has worked for Fairmont and now works for Pursuit. So again, just industries and businesses that give us the opportunity to further explore, learn, and grow. It's been really good.
Cool. One of my fondest memories of you, Cheryl, was just like last year because I think you and I both had a kid at LGMS, and one of the
Yeah.
big highlight events is one of the school dances, and it is like pandemonium and chaos. And I swear, Cheryl, amidst all the things, as I was running the snack bar, you kept it going. Everything was cool and calm. Um, so I can vouch that you have star power when it comes to working with kids.
Aw.
Yeah. Could you tell me why the vote matters for the school board trustee? Because I know a lot of times there's a lot of visibility when it comes to like counselor and mayor, and people don't always understand the school board trustee side. So why does that vote matter so much? Tell us.
Well, I think for a long time, at least in my 10 years history, there's never really been a race before for
Mhm.
any of the school trustee positions. I think everybody has always been acclaimed.
Right.
So Canmore has a race. And for me, the reason why I think that this role is so important, and it is important to shine the spotlight on it a little bit, is mostly because this role has to do with children,
Yeah,
our children. And
absolutely.
they are the most vulnerable sector of our population. They're the ones who need the most help, the most care, and we need to invest in their future. And the way I see myself participating in that and giving the most support I can is through this school vote. So that role in our community is really important. The 5 people that will come together for the Bow Valley,
Mhm.
they're making some pretty big decisions for our future.
Could you give an example of some of the decisions that the various trustees that get on will be tasked with? Because I do know there's big decisions coming, but what are some of the ones on the radar that maybe some people are like, oh, I didn't know that the trustees, that's one of their vested responsibilities.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few, and there's actually some that have been on my mind that have really come up in the past year. There's, the obvious ones like budget. That's a big role of
Right.
the trustees. Some of the ones that have weighed on my mind in the past have been topics like teacher satisfaction, for example, this
Okay.
pending strike that we have, um, student safety, Indigenous student relations.
Yeah.
Um, Topics like that I think have come up, curriculum development, for example. These are really big topics, and the council and the school board are all part and parcel of making those decisions to help propel those things forward. So, in the past year, I've just really felt like a lot of these big topics came up, and I
Mhm.
would sit at council meetings, and I wasn't really feeling very um, knowledgeable. I didn't know where to find the information. Most of what I was reading and learning was coming out of the RMO.
Mhm.
And I felt like when I did turn to anyone for help or for some further understanding, I was rebuffed.
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
yeah. So these are the types of topics and the types of things that are coming up at school board, policy development that I would like to be more a part of.
Okay, well that's awesome because if you're not getting you feel that the sort of connection that you need, you can get in there and like try your best to make a change. What are
Exactly.
other things that you feel that in terms of your grand vision of what we could move our school board or nudge it in the direction of? Like what's some stuff like I know you talked about some stuff. What are you like really passionate about in terms of how we can make our school boards even better?
I'm looking for more diversity and more inclusion
Okay.
and just preparing our classrooms and our education system in general
Mhm.
to incorporate more of that. And not just in the student body population, but also in how we teach it and who's teaching it and who is representing us. So I just want to see more diversity and more inclusion there.
Okay. Now, are you also talking at a staff level as well?
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha. Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely down with the diversity and inclusion. Absolutely.
That's
And
a really big one for me.
for sure. And so this is your first time campaigning in this role. And tell me how it's going. Like, like how's the support? Is that coming through? Because it can be tricky because, like you said, the last couple times there's always been the same people getting acclaimed.
Yeah. So I had to really get my bearings, figure out how to campaign, like where you can campaign, what types of advertising can be done and used, and what are the logistics around that, like who's funding it, and how are you making sure the public knows and being completely transparent.
Mhm.
But I have been completely overwhelmed, Jeff, by the support I have received, not only from my close family and friends,
Right.
but strangers. Like a lot of like I have these really cute buttons. I should have had one here to show you
Oh,
that say vote for Cheryl.
yeah.
And when I walk around with that, like in the grocery store or at the dog park, people actually stop me and ask me, well, first, in all honesty, they ask me if I'm running for council. And then they can see it says school trustee on it. And then they ask, oh, what's that all about? And when they realize it has to do with their kids or they possibly had kids that went through the school system, they're really engaged and very involved. And they'll take a button, or some places have asked me for a sign. And I'm actually now making lawn signs because I've had a request for so many. I wasn't going to do it
Oh,
initially. Yeah. And just the outpouring of love and community that has come out of this has been I feel badly saying surprising, but it has felt very hopeful and encouraging.
yeah, because sometimes you don't know until you know. And because I remember, like, running like my first campaign back in 2021, you get some inklings, some people kind of give you a nudge, like, hey, have you thought about it? Or, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Would you think I'd be good? And, and people say stuff, but that's, typically your closest network. And then
Yeah.
the other,
Yeah.
yeah, so, like, it's kind of nice to know that, like, all the other good works you've been doing during this time, volunteering, helping, etc., is being seen. Tell me
Yeah.
some of the
Thank
volunteer
you.
roles you've done leading up to this that helps kind of give you that sort of insight of what would make you a great
Yeah.
trustee.
So
Yeah.
I've been on parent council at all three schools the entire
What?
time I've lived here. Yeah, and I was chair of parent council for 5 years at ERS, Elizabeth Rummel Public School.
Mhm.
And then, of course, being the social convener at Lawrence Grassy, which is a self-declared title.
Yep.
But those sitting on parent council, attending council of council meetings they've been really insightful and educational.
Mhm.
One term I was able to do a casino fundraiser, which the amount of detail and organization that goes into that is incredible. So that was really educational and inspiring to see how that works and how much money you can raise as a charity from that. um, so that's my school council experience. And then I've constantly been volunteering for different efforts that mean something to me.
Mhm.
I was part of the startup for the Canmore food rescue.
Amazing.
uh, yeah, you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was part of that. I was part of the Syrian refugee project when the first family came to Canmore.
Mhm.
I currently volunteer at the hospital with my dog Archie.
Mm.
And I volunteer at the library with Friends of the Library just because I love to be around books, and so working the book sale is so fun.
For sure.
And, yeah. And then I just signed up to be a mentor for the Smart Start program
Mhm.
that, is run in conjunction through the town, Pride, Banff, and also, the Chamber of Commerce.
My gosh.
So, yeah, it
Buddy, Cheryl Fraser will be running for council in 2029.
So I know sometimes it seems like a lot, but I love to do all these things and it keeps me busy. And the feeling of gratification and reward I feel after I do these things is really good.
Okay. Like
Um,
completely grounded in community on so many layers. Um, I think one of the things I'm kind of bummed about is that your kids have now moved out of LGMS, and my daughters are just fully in LGMS. So
ah,
so your kids are now at CCHS? Is that their
correct.
school? Okay, great.
Yes.
And
Great.
let's just like fast forward like these next couple of years, in the eyes of a student, what would you want them to have in these last couple of years as they go through their high school arc? Because I think just kind of telling that story would be a very compelling thing. What kind of board that would be the framework underneath that? What
Yeah.
is right now?
That's that's such a good question, Jeff, to think of this from the perspective of youth. I love that. I think if they were to have the floor right now, the things that they'd want to say, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a mom and I want this for them too. I think that they would truly say for themselves and all their friends, they want safety. They want a safe environment. Um, right away, my younger daughter is in grade 9, and she's identified some issues with the restroom. And just kind of feeling not necessarily not safe, but just uncomfortable.
Yeah, like
So
vulnerable.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And then my older daughter did go through, quite an extensive experience with bullying that, the RCMP were actually involved as well. So I think that would probably be at the forefront for them, safety, so
Good.
that they can enjoy all of the things that happen at high school outside of the classroom. They
Mhm.
both love school, they love their teachers, they love to learn. It's not always easy, and sometimes they don't always get along with their teachers, but they, for the most part, want to be there. And then they want to enjoy all the things that are outside of the classroom environment. So the football games, playing soccer, playing volleyball, going to the pep rally,
Mhm.
doing the spinathon, being a part of the school play. So I think from their perspective, they would want to make sure that they always had a safe, fun environment for everyone. And that does include the classroom environment. They want to make sure that they have teachers that are happy so that they're happy.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's like we've been really fortunate. Like we've had some amazing teachers for my daughters to go through, and the teachers that are like satisfied and are in a good spot and are happy, they just shine. You can
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're talking basic Marxism here, right? If your staff and employers are happy, then the people they work for and the products that they serve will be happy.
yeah. Can I bounce a question towards the inclusivity space? Can we talk
Yeah.
like Indigenous students that come to like our school board? Because I'm coaching volleyball, and we have a couple athletes that are
Oh,
from
excellent.
Asian, and they are so great. But I could also tell, it's a bit of a leap to come here because it's like a bit of a different thing. Like, from that side of things, do you have any thoughts on that community too, and how we can like make sure they're well served through our process of the school
Yeah.
board?
I mean, right now in this particular moment, I don't have this exact strategy or plan that I can lay out for you, but
Yeah.
this is definitely at the top of my platform for sure. Making sure that we have positive Indigenous student relationships with their families and the community.
Mhm.
Um, and that includes, this past year, there was a huge commotion with Stony Education Authority and the funding that was coming from them and the federal government. And again, I cannot speak eloquently or 100% intelligently on that because it was all a little bit of a mystery. I
Black
would
box.
just hear,
Yeah.
yeah, like a little bit here and a little bit there. And fortunately, what I did learn in the end was that the situation was resolved in a very healthy way that benefited everyone.
Mhm.
But I just don't like to know that we're going to have hiccups like that or that a hiccup like that can so easily happen. It's disruptive. And
Mhm.
then it also creates tension
Mhm.
between everyone and then starts to create a divide. And
Mhm.
I don't want that either. And I'm not saying I want assimilation by any means, but I want Indigenous students to feel welcome,
Yep.
seen, and heard. and taught in a way that is comfortable for them.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
so eventually, like the election will come, and there'll be 5 trustees, right? And I'm hoping, like things go well, you get to your seat at the table. What is the superpower that you will bring to that group?
Well, definitely my ability to talk.
Yeah.
But I think that my superpower is going to be asking the questions. I'm not a yes person. I'm a disruptor. I
Okay.
want to ask the questions. I want to make it uncomfortable.
Mhm.
If that's what it takes to get to the real nitty gritty of things that are happening or decisions that are being made. I don't want to be just a yes person and sit back and say, okay, yeah, I accept
Go
that.
ahead.
And yeah, exactly. I'm not that kind of person. So that's asking questions is going to be my superpower, being the investigator.
Amazing. Well, like I think one of the challenges is sometimes, we settle into status quo, or is it, "Oh, this is just the way we've always done it," or, "Oh, that's just not really going to happen." But then we start asking the right questions, and it's like, "Oh, maybe we can like open a door a little bit here, see where we go."
Yeah.
So how can people find out more about you? Perhaps get a button, request a sign. What's the best way they can get a hold of you?
So the best way right now is my information is not secret. It's all published in the Rocky Mountain Outlook, including my phone number. So if you really wanted to call me up or text me and talk, you can
Mhm.
always phone me. I answer my phone no matter what, even if I think it's going to be like a junk mail phone call.
Right.
But what I am advertising is through my email, which is Cheryl Fraser is online at gmail.com.
Mhm.
And then you'll see on my various posters or lawn signs around town, there's a QR code that links back directly to my website,
Mm,
which the URL is super long. So I'm not going to tell you that over this podcast,
sure.
but I definitely have some presence online as well.
Okay.
And for this campaign, I decided to keep my social media private and I decided not to make one specifically for the campaign
Mhm.
because that wouldn't be the authentic, real me.
Right.
And that is why I chose to keep my social media private because the real authentic me is on there. And it's got everything from my kids to my brand new great nephew. And
Yeah.
that's private and sacred to me, which I don't mind sharing if you become a close contact of mine.
Yeah, I think that's a healthy boundary. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So it's like Cheryl Fraser is online at gmail.com.
You got it.
So I got that right. Perfect. And so I think we're talking also a bit, as we're going through campaigning piece. I think one of the interesting things that you and I also just had prior, we were talking about when you get to the ballot box, how does that work? So, for example, I think when people like when you vote for counselors, here in Canmore, we got 6 spots. And I think when you come to vote for, like, say, school trustee, there's 2 spots, right? And it's the sort of thing where, um, what was your presupposition before how you thought it used to work?
So I wondered if you had to just pick. So I think there's 12 people running for council.
Yeah. Mhm.
12, and then there's only 6 seats. So do you pick the 6 or do you just pick 1 and the top 6 will
Oh,
get.
yeah, that's a great question because they're not ranked votes, right? And so basically, the way it works, and I learned this from the last term as well.
Okay.
And basically, what happens is a bit of a strategy piece. If you're going to vote, and say you have like say you're voting for counselors and there's like 4 candidates that you can totally resonate with and you believe in them, just vote for the 4 you like. So because what happens if you vote for the 4 you love and then there's just a couple you're kind of like meh, what happens is when it comes to counting the ballots, there's no differentiation. So by adding those couple votes that you didn't really fully support, they actually water down the chances of the people you really like. And so
Oh,
because,
okay.
yeah, so because of say school board trustee, what happens? We got 3 people running for 2 spots. If there's 2 people that you resonate with, absolutely vote for 2. But there's only one. Only vote for 1. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
And this year will be different as well because it's hand ballots versus computer.
Yeah. So it might
That'll
take
be
a little bit of time.
so when will we know the results?
Exactly. But the other thing too I'm hearing is if you find people in your network that, hey, like I'm not going to be able to be here on Monday, October the 20th, which is when we vote for all these various positions, people can go down to the Civic Center and request a special ballot. So if you got something coming up in your life, totally tell those folks that, hey, you can still vote. You can get some special ballots. I know people are getting special ballots right now and filling them in. So yeah, democracy works.
Oh, amazing. Okay, good.
Awesome. So Cheryl, in closing, is there anything else you want to let people know?
Um, I think that I just really want people to know that I'm not coming across as an expert here.
Mhm,
I know that there's going to be a learning curve for me,
mhm,
and I'm prepared for that, and I'm ready to do the work,
mhm,
and I'm ready to be present in this role, and I'm ready to be available to
mhm.
listen and to learn and to put it all out there and then to report back with honesty and transparency.
Amazing. Well, Cheryl, I'm wishing you all the best during the rest of the campaign. I hope you get in there and you can exercise that superpower,
Yeah.
the questions and make the change. And yeah, good luck and I'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Good luck to you too.